This is Yaul Raushan, and this is the Can is Can podcast, where we shine light on stories of resilience, inclusivity, and the spirit that binds us all as Singaporeans. Today we meet Shaheed Alam. You might know him as one of Singapore's brightest tennis players, but beyond the court, he's been serving something far greater: purpose. On what would have been his late father's birthday, Shaheed hosted a charity tennis event that raised more than $25,000 for migrant workers. Now, it wasn't just about the game, but about honouring his dad's legacy and giving back to the very people who helped build this country. Shaheed, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi man, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you with us, Shaheed. There's so much to talk about, a topic that I deeply care for, and I'm excited to unpack it all with you. But let's start with the big day itself. Serving Our Heroes by Project Love All. The title itself tells a tale. Tell me more about how you came up with this event.
So, a little short background. We organized like a little fundraiser event in 2020. Back when it was like COVID and, all of us were just staying home during circuit breaker. And like the migrant workers community were pretty badly hit, with the dorms and the cases breaking out and all of that. And then I just thought we're just all at home doing nothing. So might as well just do something good and start a fundraising campaign to help them a little bit. And we raised about close to $7,500, just based from family, friends, just sharing the link to the donation page. And then we got about 900 meals delivered to different dormitories during Hari Raya. So it was something nice. It was like a taste of home for them. Have nice biryani rice on Hari Raya.
Where was the food from? I was going to ask.
It was one of our tennis contacts.
Okay.
He has a kitchen, commercial kitchen, and so he just kind of helped us out with the food and all of that. So we just delivered, and it was super nice.
So that sort of whet your appetite, pun fully intended.
Yeah.
And then now you do Serving Our Heroes, which ties tennis, which I'm guessing is your first love, together with giving back. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I'm based in the US for school and tennis, and then when I came back this end of May, literally the first thing that I saw when I got back home was the migrant workers just sleeping on the floor below the HDB block, and that kind of broke my heart a little bit. I was coming back from the US, all fancy and stuff over there, come back home and then see all these guys that literally built our country sleeping on the floor with the food open and all of that. So I was wow, let's try to do something over here. And then in the middle of June, I started thinking what can we do, now that COVID is over, we can go full blast basically. And why not use tennis? That's something I'm decent at. So why not use that as a way to give back and a way to just get the community together to just help out this migrant workers and all of that.
No, I absolutely love that. It's almost like something you saw flick the switch and
they
then
did, actually, yeah.
It came full circle in terms of that event itself. Well supported, plenty of friends, family was there.
Yeah.
Minister Edwin Tong was there. Migrant workers were obviously there. What was running through your mind from, you say you come back from US, under your block, you see migrant workers in difficult conditions, and then you're standing on a tennis court honouring them. What was that moment like standing on the court?
Yeah, I feel now that you talked about it, it's I'm thinking about it, it's actually quite a nice moment, from that point to the point where I literally Minister Edwin Tong and myself and a couple of coaches were feeding them balls to play tennis and all that. It's actually quite a pretty nice full circle moment actually.
And what was the response from the migrant workers? I'm guessing maybe tennis is not something they're all too familiar with, but they were game to try it out.
Yeah, definitely. I think at the start when they came to the venue, they were a little bit shy and obviously, there were a bunch of people. Before they came, it was a tennis competition that raised the funds, basically, through the registration fee and all of that. So they came midway through. So when they came, they were evidently pretty shy and all of that, this is not their area, right? So, and there were a lot of public people, a bit of media, photographers, videographers. Minister Edwin Tong was there, so they were wow, what's going on over here? And then we got onto court, and then I think after a while, they were getting the hang of it. They were having fun. We could see their faces. They were having a good time.
I think sometimes people like to draw a line between Singaporeans and migrant workers, but something like sport helps remind us that we're all competitive inside, right? It's almost like you give them a racket and a ball, they're like, all right, let's play.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we put like targets behind as well. So like they were trying to, hit the targets. I don't know if any of them hit it, but it was a little bit of, competitive spirit between all of them. And yeah, I think they just had a good time all around.
Now, I mentioned it in the intro, the poetic justice is not lost on me because the event itself, 17th of August, I believe, it happened on your late dad's birthday.
Yeah.
Was that by chance or was that on purpose?
No, it was 100% on purpose. Like, so when we were getting the venue, we were getting like, all the guests and all that. That was like my non-negotiable. Like it has to be on 17th of August. Obviously to honor my late dad's legacy and, remember him on that day as well. Because he's the one that started me out with tennis, so it only makes sense if we do something like this with tennis on that day, And it falls on a Sunday, which is perfect.
When the stars align, the stars just align, right?
Yeah.
I have to ask you this. You talk about your dad starting you out in tennis. It wasn't just that. He started you out to, I dare say, be a good human being as well. Because one of the lines which you mentioned to the Straits Times is he told you, the more you give, the more you get. And this was aligned to that. What's some of your fondest memories of your dad talking to you about these ethos?
Yeah, I mean, I think like maybe he might not have like said it per se, but like he always shows it, like on a daily basis. He's always like, he's one of those guys that's always like, if you call him at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and if you need something, 100% he's going to be there. Like, our doors were always open until like 3-4 a.m. when he sleeps super late before. So he's always that one person in the block where like if somebody needs anything, they're gonna call him, and he's always gonna be there. And yeah, there's like little things like I don't know if you know, like there's like a good neighbor award, for example.
Yeah.
And like all those years ago, he won like a good neighbor award, which is like a national award kind of thing, which was insane because when there was a new neighbor that was coming into our floor, he like literally organized like a little barbecue with all the other neighbors on the floor to welcome the new neighbor and the family. So like small things like this. I don't know if I said it in the Straits Times, but like when the migrant workers come to like wash the floor, right? Like the monthly wash and stuff like that. He's always the first one to take the hose away from them, give him a drink, give him a snack, ask him to like relax and chill a little bit, and then he's gonna be washing the floor, the staircase, and all of that. So like it's small things like this that really that I kept and I learned from him, obviously, and there's no better way to continue his legacy by doing the same thing. So hopefully in the future I still be able to continue to do this and yeah, I mean just honor his legacy basically. Yeah.
You talk about your dad winning good neighbor. I think you're on your way to winning a good son award if you continue to honor his legacy like this. I have to ask, losing him in 2020 must have been difficult for you, but once you overcame the grief, right?
Yeah.
When did it almost click in your head that I'm going to do these things to keep my father's legacy alive?
Yeah, I think it kind of came like I would say in 2021, 2022-ish. So I was in NS during that time, and I was kind of deciding what I wanted to do after NS. It was basically, do I stop playing tennis and start coaching and all of that, or do I continue playing tennis and try to pursue my goals and my aspirations and all that? And I kind of thought like, if my dad was still around, if I was going to ask him, he would have 100% said like continue playing tennis. Like you can work until you're 60, but you're not gonna your playing years are only like this short, right? So I kind of like thought about that, and I was like, you know what, like let's just go and then continue playing tennis. And before you know it, I'm on the other side of the world in the US playing tennis. So yeah, I mean that was pretty much the moment, like end of 2021, 2022-ish. Yeah.
Absolutely, I hear you. Now coming back to this habit of giving back to migrant workers in this instance, right? Does your mom have an opinion about it in terms of how you are honoring your dad's legacy and almost flying the family flag high, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think my mom and my two sisters as well, like they're super supportive since day one, like they've always been there for me, like, training can be tough, always traveling. So they're always the one that's giving me the emotional support that every athlete needs. And family support is probably one of the most important things, like if you're an athlete. So even more so now, like, I mean, organizing that event, like it was supposed to be like a small, fundraiser kind of thing, and then it kind of like blew out, and then before you know it, like it's in Fairmont Hotel, Minister Edwin Tong is coming, Gene Danker is hosting, and I was like, okay. So the three of them were really helping me out. Like, I mean, I was kind of like doing it alone, but with them, they were like basically right beside me the whole way through, and sleeping super late, trying to organize stuff and all of that. So yeah.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned Minister Edwin Tong being there, Jin Danker hosting it and stuff like that, right? When you decided to embark on setting this event up, you maybe felt like it was an idea in your head, a light bulb in your head that then you manifested into the world, right? But along the way, did you meet like-minded people who were with you on that journey, and did that make you feel more confident in pulling this entire event off?
Yeah, definitely. So there were two other guys, Sharin and Pratap, that were really really helping me as well. Like they were there in 2020 as well when we were doing that little fundraiser. So they were kind of the first ones I called as well. I said like, yo, back in Singapore, I want to do something. Let's come together. So straight away we set up a meeting. We were like, let's do this. So it's nice to have people that are supportive and having the same idea. And yeah, it makes things a lot easier.
Now, Shahid, in the introduction earlier, I mentioned you've raised something like $25,000 for migrant workers. Tell us more in terms of how these funds are going to be used.
Yeah, so it's going to be distributed to our beneficiary, which is It's Raining Raincoats. And they've been like an organization that for the past 10 years, is their 10th year anniversary actually this year, that has, championed the welfare and the well-being of migrant workers. So the funds will be distributed to them, and then they will use the funds to help out the migrant workers in like daily necessities, transport, welfare stuff, all the good stuff basically, because they're really a good organization, and we wanted to find a good one to make sure the funds are being used properly. So they've been super supportive, and I mean they're the ones that brought the migrant workers down as well. So like super cool for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Raining Raincoats, if you think the name is familiar, they're the ones who raised the funds for the sinkhole heroes as well, right? In terms of helping migrant workers, right? How important are associations like Raining Raincoats, and how accessible were they when you reached out to them in terms of, oh, that's great, let's do something together?
Yeah, it was just that, literally. I just dropped them. They have like a WhatsApp chat bot kind of thing. So I just sent in the thing, and then one of the volunteers, or maybe not the volunteers, the admin staff reached back to me, and then it was like, yeah, let's do this. Like it was super simple. And they're super supportive. I was just checking with them, everything was okay. They were like, yeah, all good. Let's make it happen. So shout out to It's Raining Raincoats.
Coming back to that point you made about coming back from America and then seeing the migrant workers under the block, right? I'm of the opinion that sometimes migrant workers are only discussed in times of crisis. There was a recent sinkhole incident, and then Raining Raincoat stepped in to raise funds for them, so on and so forth. It's all well and good to have them as part of the conversation when they need to be celebrated as heroes. But on a day-to-day basis, they are sort of overlooked in the grand scheme of things.
100%, yeah.
Is that something you feel we need to address as a society?
Yeah, it's actually a funny story, because so like when I came back, it was like in the middle of, like when I thought about doing this event, it was in the middle of June. And that was like right before like all the sinkhole incident and all of that kind of stuff. And then our event was on the 17th of August, and the sinkhole incident was I think like end of July or early August, around that period. So like before we launched the whole competition and the whole event, that sinkhole incident was getting so much like media attention. It looked as though like I was doing it. Yeah, I was like, we timed it, and as though like we were doing it because of the sinkhole incident. But it was like completely not. It was like when like there were no like coverage on them at all. Like it wasn't like you said, like in times of crisis and all of that, and then everybody's like, wow, migrant workers here, migrant workers there. So it was like totally before all of that. But yeah, back to your point, like I 100% agree. Like the welfare has to be better. Like I still don't get it how these guys are traveling in the back of the lorries and all of that, which is crazy to think. It's 2025. We're in Singapore. This kind of things, like I feel like has to be improved. And yeah, I mean, just the overall welfare, their lifestyle, just work environment, all of that has to be better.
Shahid, I want you to speak to the listeners here, right? Because it's all well and good having the opinion you just shared in terms of their welfare being better. You've taken it one step further. You've walked the talk literally by doing something to give back to them, right? Convince the listeners that it's not that difficult to do something nice for the migrant workers.
Yeah, I mean, like we were speaking before, right? It's basically just not really going out of my way, because it's doing something I love anyways, and playing tennis, and just using tennis as a tool to give back. And I think everybody can just do it in their own ways, like just small things. Like the most important thing is just to like treating them good and treating them as one, like some of them are here longer than like any of the kids in Singapore, like one of the guys that came to the event was here for like 15-16 years in Singapore. So like if anything, they're more Singaporean than like a 10-year-old kid, man. Like they've been living here. They're the ones that kind of like built the country up. They keep the city clean. All the good stuff that people read about Singapore outside is thanks to them, And I mean, I feel like if everybody just treats them the way they want to be treated, it's going to be a better place. And yeah.
Shahid, can I ask you if you speak Tamil? Do you speak the language?
No, I don't actually.
Okay,
no.
So in terms of communication with the migrant workers, was that difficult for you? Was it broken English?
It was broken English, but also we had a few Tamil-speaking friends that were helping me to make sure they're standing in a line to play tennis and stuff.
And the reason I asked you whether you speak the language is because I was trying to uncover if there was any interaction from the migrant worker to you, maybe via a translator or something, in terms of them showing their gratefulness for the whole event coming together.
I think not really, like in terms of a conversation, but I could just see them from their facial expression, which speaks 1,000 words, to be honest. They were like super happy. You can see like, in their eyes that they were like very grateful. They were having a good time. And all of that. So like you don't need to have any translator to understand what they're trying to say. Yeah.
No, I love the point you're making. If you're listening in, go to Shahid's social media and check out the photos he's posted. I've seen it firsthand as well. They clearly were elated to be seen, and I think that's so important. Shahid, we talked about this being a second event you've organized, right? One was the food giveaway during Hari Raya. Now it's tennis. What else is coming in terms of continuing to champion them?
Yeah. I think for sure, like championing them is still, top priority and all that. But I also want to, expand and, try to help different communities as well, as much as possible. So like this project level initiative that I founded, I feel like I should use this to be able to help different communities. So for next year, so hopefully I can do this like a yearly and annual event. Not every 17th of August is going to be on a Sunday, so we're gonna adjust a little bit over there, but around that area. But yeah, I mean, just help different communities. So like next year we're thinking of like maybe underprivileged children or like people with disabilities. Just try to reach as many people as possible and try to just help them out. Raise awareness for whatever they need, and yeah.
I did a quick check. 17th of August 2026 is a Monday, so
okay.
It's okay. You can do it.
Maybe 16th, like it's just a weekend off.
Exactly. I want to ask you this before I wrap up this conversation. You're obviously somebody whose claim to fame is tennis. You have a scholarship. You're now studying in America, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So you're someone who is privileged in that sense, not in the bad sense, but you have things going for you in your life, right? And some of our listeners may be the same. I want you to speak to me in a sense where when you have things, how important it is to give back.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like the main reason why I started doing all of this is because tennis has given me a lot, like the position that I'm at and, representing Singapore and all of that's a huge honor. So being in this position, I feel like I can influence other people to help out and to get the community together and do something good. So that's my thinking, of just like using this platform that I have and the community that I can reach out to just do good, basically. Yeah.
And my final question is, if your dad was around, what do you think he'll be saying to you now in terms of the event that you're putting together and what you're planning for as well?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll be super proud and he'll be super happy to see all of this, coming to life. And yeah, I think he'll just tell me to just keep going and just to always just enjoy yourself. That's his main motto, basically. Yeah.
Your dad won the Good Neighbor Award. He's clearly a very good father. You are a good son and by all accounts a good Singaporean, right? Thank you for joining me on Can is Can. Continue to fight the good fight.
Thank you so much for having me, bro.